There we go. Okay, we're back. I don't know. This new OBS version, man. It's it's something. It's taken some getting used to. Okay, we're here. Hopefully. Let me know if all the levels are good there, chat. If you want me to change anything. I'm just getting over a cold myself. So sorry if my voice goes a little off tonight. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like wondering what we should work on this week, and I thought, we haven't worked on that adventure engine in a while. The adventure game engine, so why not, right? We were getting very, very close. We're making some progress. I should say close. We're making progress with developing the CLI tooling that's going to help, like the author tooling that's going to help you help me build the world's content for the game, and well, for any game really. But yeah, so mainly parsers and things like that. And if we jump over to Maker, which is the tool in making games, we have this parser. It's built on Parsec, using a state T as the bottom monad underneath that to have some parse state, so that when we're loading entities in and we're parsing them, we can give them um, entity IDs and generate them as we go. I think we just got this working, if I'm not mistaken. Type and stack GHCI. Bam. I think everything's good. Yeah. So we run our maker parser here to do that. And I believe I had some test data to test this out with, just to remind myself where we're at here. What did I call it? Package. There we go. Adventure Maker. So we can stack exec Adventure Maker. Right, we need a directory. Assets. LS assets. It's in there. No, not assets. Sorry, that's data. Yeah. So we can stack exec on data. Like that. Okay. World.text doesn't exist because it's in the example adventure. That's right. Cool. So that's how you invoke it. And then we get a world.json. With our parse date and room data, I think that's all we've got so far. Some entity IDs and things like that is what we need. Cool. So world.text is what we're parsing. Three rooms, the front porch, the main hall, and another dimension. Here we are, near the end. Prepare for pasta. So what other data we need to fill in when we're defining a room? We need the exits. All right, so we might as well work on that. So we go into, I pop over to the game engine itself. Engine objects, yeah. So we could find the dig, the room exits, the objects in the room. These are currently all empty. Right. So what does this look like in the source text for a file for writing this? I want to be able to like write another dimension, exits, something like this, where I can list them out. We're going to need some kind of syntax for referencing other entities that are in this source file, right? Might want to like do it with some kind of, I'm using these delimiters here to help the parser know when like this is a new room record to separate the room records. And we're kind of using this list notation from here to the end. And yeah, I don't want to overuse that too much because it's getting a little heavy looking. But after the description, maybe we could have like exits. Okay, maybe dash dash exits like this. We have, needs to be like this could be just a comma separated list of exit names, like the exit names here. So from another dimension, give the exits to black door. That'd be an example of one. We can connect the front porch to the main hall. There's an example of a multi-line thing. We can go like front door and black portal. And then the main hall can have that would be a hard key to do, because technically we could have this be the front door as well. It's the front door on both sides of the exit. But the way we define exits, we have the exit from and to. So we have to like define both sides of the exit when we attach it between two rooms. So we need a way to key it to the thing syntactically. We don't have entity IDs in here. Although we do define the entity IDs manually in the rooms, why don't we do that with the exits too? That would disambiguate It'd be really annoying to edit though. We could do like front door. Or it could be like 2 front door. This would be the 1 front door. All right, this would be the black portal. Maybe like, let's go, they all have to be unique, so black portal. This would be 4. Black door. All right, and then we would have an exit section where we would have the definition for these things. We could do a similar parse to the rooms. Yeah, like that maybe. I call that one the front door. Has an exit description, so when the player looks at the door, we give them the description. A shabby formerly painted white. Let's make that 2 sentences. Formerly painted white. It is now decaying and chipping. The paint is flaking off, exposing gray wood underneath. There you go. A description. Then we need from and to. From the front porch to to the main hall. It's not so bad. All right. And then how would I define the next one? 2 would be front door. Inside of the door is still painted white. Looks great. And we'll do this same kind of thing here, but it connects the opposite way. No lock. Lock is the other thing I guess we need to figure out as well for this. We can, it's not required. We can leave it for now, I suppose, just to get this going. That's okay, I guess. That's all right. So we added like kind of two syntactic elements, if that's what you want to call them. And this idea here of this parenthesis with a number in it, followed by a dot, a space, and some words, some characters. Well, that's one. The other one is this dash dash notation here for these kind of parameters or fields of the record that need to be filled in. And then the definition for parsing exits. Similar to the rooms, we define the entity ID directly in the source, and the title here, description, and then same thing down there. Okay. Now, we look at the parser and maker. We got a world parser, which gets the rooms. And we're constructing the room record directly in the parser. Even though technically this room's going to be partial until we finish reading the rest of the file. We're not going to know, like these exit things here, if we're in the middle of parsing this room, and we haven't parsed all the exits in this file yet, we can't validate that this is a valid reference or not until we've parsed the whole file first. This is just not there. And it means when we're constructing this type, this record on this side in the parser, we can't put exits in here, I don't think. Unless this, well, maybe. Actually, it's just entity IDs. As long as those entity IDs resolve to the right thing before we're done parsing, that actually should be fine. So this ought to work. Right? We just ignore this name here. Right, it's really more for user convenience to write that, and they can write whatever they want. We could make it an error if you don't type it in properly, if we wanted to. But as we're parsing at least this one record, right, we get out this number, which is what an entity ID ultimately is. It's just an integer. And we just use some type level shenanigans to make sure that we don't mix up IDs from different maps that we use for like objects and items and things like that, and different functions and stuff. So if I jump down to, say, the world, or let's just go to the database. So that's where the entity ID is. We just wrap an integer. Right. The type of what it is, this A, is what we're going to have to do when we're parsing. So when we're parsing this list of these entity IDs, this parameter is going to tell us what that A is. These are going to be entity IDs of rooms. We should be able to put that into the room's record field for the exit IDs. All right, and then at a final stage of our parsing pass, we can validate all of the data that we've parsed. Does this room actually exist in the source file somewhere? Has it been defined? Are the IDs consistent? That sort of thing. I'm not super sure that's going to be the best architecture, but I think it'll work. So we don't need this just yet. So while we're developing this, I'm just going to cut that out and just like put it somewhere for now. Okay. Let's go to the parser. We're going to need to call that something. I'm going to call it a reference entity ref. I might make it a full thing. Entity ref. Maybe should have an A. Or should we just parse those right to entity IDs? No, I'm gonna call it an entity ref. We'll keep the name in the source file. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I'm going to keep it there. Yeah, so we'll have to make, we can make it a tuple, I guess, as a new type, but we'll just make it like this. Entity ref, A and text. Int and text. No. The shape of that looks a little... All right, we have the entity ref entity ID. And the entity ref name text. Derive our usual type classes for that. Okay. That's okay. That looks good. And so the context for our entity ref, what we're parsing, is going to have to come from whatever this is that we're parsing. So like what to put in for that A when we construct an entity ref. All right. So an entity ref of a exit, right? And an entity ID 1 and the exit name. Might need to set overloaded strings for that. Exit, yeah, entity ID, and say 3 and 2, right? Oh, we haven't implemented type applications yet. All right, and then that's how we can get an entity ref and tell it what type it is. Okay. So how do we write a parser for this thing? That's the next step. I'm going to put it down here. In the game source text. Written as, I forget how to, the haddock syntax always sometimes escapes me. I think it's at for literals, if I'm not mistaken. In a source, we get the type parameter from the context of the parse. If we're parsing a list of exit IDs, exits, and we know A must be exit. I think we can wrap that in quotes like that. Okay. So the parser for this doesn't know what A is going to be. Right? It's whatever's going to be using this parser is going to tell us what A is going to have to be. So deref parser has to take some A, some type to tell us what it is. And no. No, it'll just be a parser for entity ref of A. It'll be an implicit for all A in there. That'll be fine. Okay. So the first things first, there's a car. Oh, actually, we could check while we're parsing. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at this stage to do that. Yeah, let's just parse the thing out. I was just noticing that the room parser we wrote, we added the state there to do the uniqueness check when we're parsing the room section, which is good. Although now that I'm looking at it, like we could get rid of the explicit numbers, but I think those actually kind of work. As I was mentioning earlier with the being able to have two exits named front door, but disambiguate which one we mean. Even though, because like in the game itself, when the game's running, the player is playing the game, we want to display the name front door. But in the source text, when we're generating the game source or the game's assets, right, the source text for the game, then we gotta be able to reference that entity somehow. I think having the entity ID in there is actually pretty useful. Yeah, so let's keep on with that. Single, I think, is the function. So we parse a single character. Throw it away, we don't need it. Then we need a digit, followed by a dot. So that'll be the entity ID that we parse. Is it like digit? We have an entity ID parser. Perfect. Entity ID parser then. Entity ID parser. And then we have a dot. And then we need to get the, let me skip a space. And then we want to get the rest of the text to up until the closing parenthesis. All right. And that is take while or many till. Ooh, it even does the dot already and consumes that in the entity ID parser. Perfect. So that means I can drop this out. Space one, and then we should be able to entity name many till something single and then we construct the entity ref with our entity ID and the entity name. Okay, yeah. Manytil is going to do a parser for each individual item. And that's how we get a stir. So I want to get my string. Except we don't want new line, we're going to put a single. that's good. We compile, and how do I test the parser again? We're using megaparsec, I believe. Test pass. Parse test. Cool. That's what I'm on. Entity ref parser, and our input test will be right. We can't exactly run it that way anymore, can we? Because of the state we put underneath. Oh no. Maybe we can come up with our own test function. Test maker parser. Parser of A, some input text, and then IO unit. We'll have to bring our parser P into scope and our text. And we will gather the results by run maker parser. No, not quite. We don't need run parser. Well, we do need run parser T. That's just the name of the source file. Oh, so we should be able to just run make parser with P. Text will be just test, and input text will be txt, and then we'll just put strlen results. Print results. And that won't be a bind because that's not an IO action. Got to add a show. Okay, so we should be able to parse test Maker parser. Sweet. Now, I'm curious. We parse the entity ID. Is the phantom types not set? Let's bind this out. Let write entity ref equal run maker parser entity ref parser with one foo. Oh, we gotta run. Yeah, sorry, what's the file name? All right, so entity ref. It's entity ref of A. So it's not preserving that necessarily. Okay, so if I run this like here, where we explicitly say ref parser that this should be a room, say, yeah, okay, and then it figures out that A is room. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna leave a little note for myself about that. I mean, it's kind of obvious-ish, but parse an entity reference in the source file, source text. Callers should set the should determine the type parameter of the entity ID. Cool. I'm gonna drink of water and hydrate. See how chat's doing. Hanging in there, chat? Sweet. Hope you all follow so far. If anybody's got questions, feel free to pipe up. I'm happy to take a diversion and figure stuff out with ya. Okay. So now that we can parse the entity refs in the file, now we need to work on adding the ability to parse those things there. So when we're parsing the room, we want to get the list of exit ID, entity IDs. And so it's going to be this parser for this thing that's going to set the type parameter, the type parameter, I guess, to the entity ref parser. Because we know when we're parsing this list that we're parsing exit IDs. We're not parsing item IDs or anything like that. Cool. So let's go to the room parser. Let's see. What do we call that thing? Parameter. What do we want to parse them by hand, or can I kind of make it somewhat generic? I don't think our room parser is going to work anymore. No, it will. It's just going to treat it as a line, probably. So maybe what we need to do is move it down like this. All right, so the pound character here signifies the end of the description area for the room. And then we can define the exits field afterwards. And that won't break the many till parse here. We'll just have to add more to the end. All right, so if we go, we got exit IDs. Property parser. I don't know if I want to do type level shenanigans here. Necessarily. I'll put the string first. I'm going to do it like this. Exits, exit. Yeah, like, no, the other way is fine. Doesn't really matter all that much. And assuming this property parser works and exists, then we should be able to replace this with exit IDs. Or, we'd have to map the entity reference, entity ID on exit IDs. Right, so all this is like type broken right now, right, which is fine. So let's look at the type errors and see what we need to build. So we need something for property parser to fix this type error, variable not in scope. So we can do that. We can put it up here maybe, or down next to our entity ref parser. Property parser. Let's give it a silly type. Okay, not gonna, that trick's not gonna work this time. That's fine. So what we're gonna have here is a text. That's gonna be the label for what we're gonna, the property list we're gonna be parsing. That's what you call it, property list. There you go. And it's gonna be a parser of a list of entity refs of A. Now what's this type error here? Ah, yes, there we go. Here's a good bit of information that we need. Our record defines this as a map, not a list. All right, so this is the actual type is what we're passing in. The record that for that field, the type is expecting a map text to entity ID exit. And it's a good thing that syntactically we put this in here like this. So this is the display text for the list of exits that are available here. Engine. Looks like this. This is like our kind of, this is our game engine running a game. And this is kind of what it looks like. Is just dummy content just to get the engine working. But so you see possible exits. Those are that list is kind of, the state of that list is kept in the room record. All right, so we don't do the lookups for the room exit names. Otherwise, that would just be a flat list of entity IDs, and generating that, we could go into the map of the database and do that. But I guess for reasons, I shortcutted that here and just keep the name in the map, in the room record. So we will need to do some validation to make sure that string in the entity reference exists in the database and matches that for that entity ID. Or we could do some refactoring and fix that later and kind of remove that and actually do a lookup function that generates that list of strings that you need for the possible exits list. However, I'm not going to worry about that now. We're working on parsing, so we can solve this pretty easily by mapping a different function here. Or no, folding. Yeah, it would be m.from list and mapping. Oh yeah, mapping function here. Yeah. Yeah. So m.from list expects a list of tuples with the first element of the tuple being a key, and then the second element being the value. And that's what I expect this holder to tell us. We want to transform an entity ref exit to a tuple text to exit IDD exit. No problem. That's pretty straightforward. It's a product type. Right, I can do that here, like with the lambda, or I can do that with a helper function. To map. Exit ref map. So it takes an entity ref of exit to tuple of text entity ID of exit. Exit ref to map is then entity ref entity ID exit name, and we'll just put that in a tuple. I think that has to be put in parentheses. Oh, other way around. And that should do that. Cool. So let's try that on our test data. And check it out. Looks like it ran at least without error. JSON pretty print. Yeah, we should have exits filled in. If we don't room exits. I'm also noticing that we don't. We might need to get the section parser working. It looks like it's not parsing. Oh, well, we messed up the parser. That's right. That makes sense, actually. No, that's fine. Right. So the section parser, I guess the section name, a new line, set by P to sep. So our room section parser parses rooms. The separator is new line or end of file. So this might not be working because like this. Try it down here. World .json. Is it? Am I looking at the wrong file? I guess it should probably tell me. The command line tool should probably tell me what files it output. Okay, so let's go into data, example adventure. It's not generated here, is it? No. Okay, so I'm just going to rm this, or move this world.json. Just rename it. Okay, so the buffer world.json did update. So did write a new file. Okay. All right, so let's look at the parser now. The property parser. It's undefined. Huh. Curious that it actually works. And isn't hitting this undefined. Not even running that action. That's weird. Okay. So this is gonna be label. What are we gonna do here? We're going to cough up this. We're gonna get the string -- space. Put a $sign there. And then we run our. And then we consume the label. Yeah. And then a car single colon space. And then one or more entity ref parsers separated by commas until the new line. And we'll bind those to entity refs. Do I have an example of set by that I've used? Step end by. Step end by. Interesting. Megaparsec. I have some combinators. Tokens. Take while P, take while 1P, take P. Doesn't look like it. Okay, where do I get, what did I make sep n by? Look like it. Nothing there. Must have defined it then myself. But where did I put it? Hmm. Okay. Sep n by. Let's see. Entity ref parser. And the separator. Comma. That'll be a hard strict. Comma. And then, once we have all the refs, we return the list of them. We don't need to bind it. What's the problem here? Name shadowing. Okay, we can fix that easy. I'll just call it LBL. So let's test that parser out. Property parser. We'll give it Property parser for exits. And the input will look like this. To.bar. Okay, that looks good. Super duper. So the property parser works. Now the room parser goes until there. Property parser consumes that line. Then we construct the room. Is our section parser going to be happy with that? That is the question. Quite possibly, but maybe not. It is not. Mm-hmm. Just make sure I'm actually getting the file. I think I am. Yeah, it is. Okay. So it is parsing this first room, but it's stopping there and going no further. The room exits aren't parsing. Still closed. Not compiling. Okay, let's see. It's getting to there. This is returning an empty list. Or null. Oh, good lord. This whole time. Oh, man. Why isn't why isn't it changing? I'm not compiling the project. Oh. Oh. Okay. My excuse tonight, stream, is that I'm still getting over a cold. And so like plus stream is like, yeah, it would work if you could compile the project. That would probably help. You know, um, Adventure Maker data. Oh, that's. I think I have to do it from the root. Sample adventure. There we go. Okay. Unexpected new line. Expecting a dash dash. That's better. Wow. Wow. Ugh. Okay. That's an easy fix. We expected a new line. We're not actually parsing a new line here, so we have to parse that new line, throw it away. Might not even need it. Single. Sorry. There we go. Right? Yeah. Now, why is it complaining about that? It wants me to discard this. Okay. Oh, I was using the compose operator. Didn't need to. Right. Okay. Yup. Yup. All right. We got this. This looks a little better. There we go. Parsing our room exits. Boom. Right. It's not validating that that's a valid room exit map. Right. But it's doing it. I'll take it. So let's stage those changes. So we add room exit parsing to the room parser. Add a new entity reference syntax for referring to entities. I'll just kind of give an example of that. And this is and this change the room definition to have a property list of Entity references. In this case, exits, like so. Validation isn't handled here, and will be addressed a later change. Cool, cool, cool. There we go. So let's see now. We can get room exits parsed. Let's go back to the room. We could do the same for objects. Labat. We'll just make it a one element list to make sure that that works with our parser. This one will be an empty one. Make sure that works as well. I wonder if we should make it just optional. Like if you don't define it, it's the empty list. Like exits have to be required, otherwise you'd have a nonsensical room in your map, right? That makes sense to require that one. But objects, a room doesn't have to have objects in it. Dig's going to be a somewhat tricky one. And a room background. Worry about those later. Let's do objects. So let's go to the parser. I'm going to change the room parser here to another new line. And we'll get the object IDs with our new property parser. Objects. I don't remember if that... Is it objects? Item? Game object. Okay, yeah. And we put that here. We could probably make that a little more general. Object IDs. Feel like we should be able to rewrite that. So entity ref tuple. Like this. Which means we should be able to get rid of that. Just call this entity ref to tuple. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean two tuple. I meant just tuple. Okay. Let's see what it did. Room exits, room objects, null there. Entity ID 2. Not seeing room 3 though. There should be 3 rooms. Something isn't quite working here. Hmm. Okay. Almost. I like that the empty list doesn't like is fine with that. That's nice. Okay, parser. That could be a room section parser might be unhappy with us. Hmm. I wonder if I'm going to just test one little theory. If it's just this parser, if it's not consuming anything from here, if maybe it's leaving it in a weird state. Okay, it is. Yeah. Okay. So let's get it. Now it's parsing all 3. So it's not able to correctly handle the empty case. Or because of the way I hard-coded the spaces in there, it might be able to just fine if I do it like and put a space there. Now Emacs is going to want to clean up that space on me because I have white space mode. I don't want it to clean up the white space in this case. I think I could turn it off like this. No, it's... That's the display the white spaces thing. Don't get rid of the... what's doing that? Da, 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 da. WK. I'm not sure what that is. Oh. For once I actually want to turn this off. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this like a really weird way, which is edit it with Vim. That's fine. I was actually a Vim user for like, I don't know, a really long time. 10 years or something before I switched to Emacs. So it's no biggie. Burp, burp, burp. Yeah, I want it on the end of the line here. Cool. And now, if I go to shell here, will it pass properly? All three rooms. No. Okay, so the space doesn't matter. It's got to consume some kind of input, or else it's not going to be happy. Okay, we can get rid of that white space. Okay, so it does matter. Oh. I didn't check if there was like multiple. I assume because exits works, this will work too. So that's fine. It's the empty case. That's the problem here. Parser. Property parser. Space 1, I think, requires a space. Sep end by. Where the heck did I picking that up from? Roll monad. People generally define it as 0 or more occurrences. So I'm going to assume that's kind of the case here with our use of sep end by. Separated and optionally ended by sep. Oh, is it because we need another new line after the objects? That might do it. All right. I'm feeling like that might fix it. World.json. Okay. Well, not quite. I think we don't want the hard-coded space in the parser. That might be one thing we can get rid of for the property parser. This one here. Skip some. Skip some spaces. Okay. That means that in the world source text file now, we can, the space after the colon here is just optional. We can have many. Hmm. No. That might not have been a good idea. Ooh, no, now we're hanging. Don't like that. No. Skip many till. Put that in parentheses. Yeah. Skip many till. Linking, building, everything's copacetti. Not expecting a space. That's not quite right either. So skip mini till will apply it 0 or more times. It's kind of what we want. Until this parser succeeds. It's failing here. And that parser is sep end by entity ref parser. What if we didn't need really the commas there? Just have them separated by spaces. Like that. Now, what's a space or new line? Let's look at the room parser. No, it's got to be in the property parser, yeah. Expecting the open parentheses or a new line. And if we get rid of that space, will it work? And it's not happy with that. The last type error we got there, or the last runtime error we got there, is here on line 12. Let's see, we expected a dash, unexpected dash. We were expecting an open parentheses, new line, or white space. Okay. Let's make that a hard restriction. It's got to be one space. Hmm. So skip many till is p end applies the parser p 0 or more times, skipping the results of p until end succeeds. Result parsed by end is then returned. All right, so sep end by the entity ref parser space 1. Let's pop over to our test make parser. That returns the empty list. Right, we wanted it space separated now. No more of these. No. Okay, that parses. This is what I was hoping with the skip many till. That doesn't work though. Right. No. Okay, so what if I get rid of this many till? Just skip many spaces? No, it's just hanging. It's weird. Okay, sum till. P end works similarly to many till, but P should succeed at least once. Note that end result is consumed and lost. Sum till underscore if you want to keep it. Okay. Okay, let's try that. Skip many, skip many, skip many, skip some. Sum till. Oh, I see. It returns not the right type. Let's just go back to skip sum till. There we go. Okay, so that's fine. And if this was game object instead, That would be fine. If it's just one, that's fine. If it's just a bunch of spaces, empty list. And okay. So we have no input there. We skip a bunch of spaces. What's going to skip some till? Expects n to eventually succeed, right? But if p eventually fails, I suppose that's what we're seeing here. Is that p eventually is failing. We have not parsed anything with end, so we have not collected anything for the result of skip many till. And hopefully skip many till consumes its input. Which means that our room parser, right? So after a single thing here, we're at this with a new line. So consume the new line, throw it away. Do our property parser for the exit IDs, that's fine. New line. Throw it away. Now we should be getting the object IDs the same way with objects. Maybe don't need that. So we go to world.text, then that should be fine, but it should be like this. Nope. Let's try that. So close. Still not working. This is the fun bit of farting around with parsers. Okay, let me adjust you up. Let's see how. So it's failing on line 12 of our file here. When it gets to this point, it's not expecting a dash dash. It's expecting an open parentheses, new line, or white space. Where are we in the parse? Because I don't think the property parser takes off the new line, right? Hmm. Maybe it should. Maybe it should. We do kind of do that with the section parser. Right, where you pass the separator in as either new line or EOF. We don't want to do that for separating the individual parses, though, with sep end by the property parser. Maybe I could bind any refs that we parsed. Put the new line consumption here. And then pure entity refs. And then maybe take care of that. All right, so we get to the new line here. And then we parse our property parser, which will consume this up to here. And then we hit the skip many till end succeeds. So number of spaces, and then tries this parser, should succeed. If it does, or P fails. Well, in the case where P fails, it's going to be a fail on the new line. But we're still going to consume it. Yeah, on the next line. So we should end up here and do property parse again. Yeah. Try and make sure it rebuilds here and just give this a shot. And then I think I probably got to end it up for the night. We're running out of time on the stream. But if you don't know, and it's your first time joining, welcome. Hi. I do these streams once a week on Tuesday evenings in the Eastern Daylight Time Zone. And if you go to Declarative TV, the link above my head, you will find a link to a Discord server and a schedule of other streamers who do stream cool stuff about various different programming languages. A lot of them functional, but declarative is kind of the big umbrella for it all. They're pretty cool. There's a channel on that Discord server for this stream here. So if you have any questions about anything you've seen, you didn't want to ask in chat or whatever, or you just want to share your project or whatever, I'm there. Send me a message sometime. But it looks like we're still kind of running into the same problem here. Let's see where we're at here from a high level. We're just adding objects. Yeah, let's just back out of this. We'll commit what we have and push it up and make it all good. Yeah, world.json, just, yeah. Yeah, well, actually, I just want to check one last thing. If we don't define anything. What's it going to do this time? It managed to get it. Okay. Let's try one in the middle. This one might have broke. Yeah, so the parser's still not perfect yet. So I got to handle the empty case for it, basically. So when there is stuff there, it's good, but when there isn't, it's not happy with it. So yeah, let's be happy with this for now. I'm gonna put that in my to-do file to follow up on. We actually did finish that. So we need to handle empty room or room exit property lists. Parser. Okay, and we'll fix that. So we should be able to parse. Am I on a really old? I am. I'm on a really old org mode. That's fine. But we should be able to parse like exits. All right. But this currently succeeds, but leaves a parser in bad state. So we'll have to think about that, how to fix that. That's what we got for tonight. So let's push up our commits. Do a quick little review. Yeah, looks good. Pushing to master. And there you go. So also, if you're tuning in for the first time and you don't know where this code is that I'm working on, this is an interactive fiction game engine project. It's on GitHub at adventure-engine. So check it out there. And this is kind of what we do on the stream. This is like a learning project. I kind of build non-trivial, non-tutorial level Haskell projects. You can see what it looks like to work in Haskell as a programmer. Maybe you're fairly experienced, maybe you're fairly new and you just want to see what the experience is like. And we just build fun stuff and mess around and learn things. So if you like what you saw tonight, just give us a follow. That'll help you get notified on Twitch when I go live. with these streams. Sometimes I do surprise streams, not always on a Tuesday night. And if you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do there. Subscribe and all that stuff. And I'll see you next week. May your monads be free. May your types always check. And happy hacking out there.